I'm not writing this to scare you. I just need someone to believe me. Maybe if I get it all out, it'll stop. Maybe it won't. But I have to try. I moved into this building last fall. Just me. No roommates. No family. I'd finally gotten a job that paid enough to afford my own place. It wasn't perfect, dingy hallway carpets, flickering lights, and the whole place smelled like old soup, but it was mine. Apartment 3B. Right across from 3C. That's where it all started. The first weird thing I noticed was the smell. Not the soup smell. That was always there. I'm talking about this strange metallic, moldy scent that would leak out from the crack under 3C's door every night around 2 a.m. It was faint at first, like rusted pipes. But then it got stronger. It clung to my clothes. My skin. I knocked on the door once to complain, but no one answered. I asked the old lady downstairs, the one with the loud oxygen tank, if anyone lived there. She just stared at me. Nobody's rented that unit in 3 years, she rasped. Not since the boy. I asked what boy. She just rolled away in her wheelchair, muttering something about eyes like oil and hollow knocking. I should have moved out then. But I didn't. I wanted to prove I wasn't scared. Stupid. One night, I heard crying. Low, muffled sobs coming from inside 3C. I pressed my ear against the door and held my breath. It sounded like a child, maybe 7 or 8, crying softly, like he was trying not to be heard. Hello. I whispered. The crying stopped. I waited. Nothing. I turned to leave, heart racing, and then, knock knock knock, 3 slow knocks from the other side of the door. My breath caught in my throat. I didn't move. Didn't speak. And then, just as I was backing away, whispering, right up against the wood, I'm not supposed to talk to you. I ran. Locked my door. Sat with my back against it until the sun came up. The next day, I convinced myself it was a prank. A squatter, maybe. Or some kid playing tricks. But when I talked to the building manager, he swore the locks hadn't been touched. The unit was sealed. Vacant. Still, I heard the crying the next night. And the one after that. It always started at 2:14 a.m. Always ended with those 3 knocks. I stopped sleeping. I left the TV on, played music, tried sleeping pills. Nothing helped. One night, I decided to wait by the door with my phone recording. I sat in the dark, hands shaking, staring at the peeling paint of apartment 3C. At exactly 2:14, the sobbing began. I hit record. 30 seconds in, the knocking came. Soft. Hollow. Not like fist on wood. More like bone on metal. And then, once again, the whisper, don't open it. If you open it, he comes through. My phone glitched. Froze. When I checked the video later, it was all static, except for one frame. One single, perfect frame of a face pressed against the peephole. Pale skin. Black eyes. And the mouth, wide, too wide, like it had been cut open from ear to ear. I called the cops. They came, checked the unit, found nothing. No one. Not even dust. The window had been painted shut. But the smell was there. That metallic rot. Stronger than ever. They said I was imagining things. Told me to get some rest. That night, I dreamed of drowning in oil. Thick, black, choking. When I woke up, my feet were wet. My apartment floor was covered in dark water. But there were no leaks. And the water was cold. Ice cold. I tried to leave. Packed a bag, grabbed my keys, opened my door, and froze. A trail of wet, bare footprints led from 3C to my doorway. Small feet. Child size. Each step perfectly spaced. I followed them with my eyes, my skin crawling. They stopped right in front of where I was standing. Like he was still there. Watching. I slammed the door shut and stayed inside for 2 days. No phone. No lights. Just me and a knife I found in the kitchen. I was done pretending this was normal. On the third night, it changed. No crying. No knocking. Just silence. Then, at exactly 2:14 a.m., my door unlocked itself. I didn't even know that was possible. I watched the handle turn, slow, smooth, and I swear on everything I love, I saw the shadow of a boy on the other side. Small. Still. Not breathing. Just waiting. I didn't open it. I couldn't. I held my breath for what felt like an hour. Eventually, the handle stopped turning. The shadow vanished. The door clicked shut. In the morning, it was locked again. I moved out that same day. Slept in my car for a week before I found another place. A new building, new locks, new neighbors. But last night, I woke up at 2:14 a.m. The air smelled like rust and mold. My front door had 3 tiny knocks. And outside the peephole, just for a second, I saw a face. Pale skin. Black eyes. And a mouth that smiled far too wide. I didn't move. Not a twitch. Not a breath. Just stood there, frozen, my forehead inches from the peephole, praying that maybe, I was still dreaming. But I wasn't. I was wide awake, my heart thudding like a drum inside my chest, my skin cold with sweat. The face outside the peephole didn't blink. It just watched. And then it smiled. Slow. Like the skin had to stretch in ways it shouldn't. I stepped back, hands shaking, and grabbed the nearest thing I could, my phone. Of course, the screen was black. Wouldn't turn on. Fully charged an hour ago, now it was dead. I stumbled backward, tripping over a chair, slamming into the wall, heart still racing. And then, silence. No knocking. No breathing. No footsteps. I waited there, in that corner, till morning light seeped in through the blinds. When I finally checked the peephole again, it was gone. The hallway empty. But something had changed. The air felt thicker now. And there were fingerprints on the inside of my door. Inside. I wanted to scream, but I couldn't. My voice was locked in my throat. I packed what I could, just clothes, my wallet, some papers, and left. No shower. No breakfast. No rent notice, just out. I didn't even lock the door. Just ran down the hall, down the stairs, out into the morning like the building was on fire. I got in my car, started it, drove for hours. No plan. Just away. I ended up in a motel 2 towns over. Cheap. Ugly carpet. Lights that buzzed when turned on. But quiet. No knocking. I thought maybe I was safe. That I'd outrun whatever it was. But I wasn't that night. I woke up at 2:14 a.m. alarm. No noise. I just woke up and the bathroom light was on. I know I turned it off. I remember checking it before bed. I always do. Habit. But there it was. Flickering, humming. That weird motel buzz. I didn't want to go look. But I had to. I crept up to the bathroom door, every inch of me tense. The door was slightly open. The light flickering inside. I nudged it wider with one finger. The mirror was fogged over. But the water wasn't running. I leaned in, wiped the glass with my sleeve, slowly revealing the reflection. And right over my shoulder, he was there, that boy. Pale. Wet. Black eyes. That twisted smile. Just standing behind me in the reflection, but when I spun around, the room was empty. Only steam and silence. I ran back to bed, pulled the covers over my head like a kid, and whispered every prayer I could remember. It didn't help. At 2:17, I heard the knock. Not on the door this time. Not on the window. From under the bed. 3 knocks. Hollow. Dull. I didn't check. I didn't look. I didn't breathe. I stayed like that until morning. And when I finally peeked out, the floor was wet. Footprints. Bare and small. Leading from the bathroom to the edge of the bed. I checked out without even grabbing my stuff. Left it all. Drove again. Slept in my car. slept in gas stations. For a few days, nothing happened. I thought maybe I'd broken the cycle. But last night I fell asleep in my car at a rest stop. Windows up. Doors locked. I woke up at 2:14 a.m. The windshield was fogged up. On the inside, and drawn into the glass, like with a wet finger, were 3 little handprints. I'm telling you this now because I think you should know. He follows people. The boy. I don't know what he is. A ghost. A demon. A memory. I don't know. But he doesn't stay in one place. He attaches himself to your attention, your curiosity, your fear. You're probably wondering why I'm writing all this online. It's not for help. It's a warning, because if you're reading this, it's probably 2:14 a.m. and you might want to check under your bed. I didn't sleep last night. Couldn't. I sat in my car with the engine off, lights out, keys clenched in my fist like they were some kind of weapon. I parked behind a church, thinking maybe the presence of God would keep him away. It didn't. At exactly 2:14 a.m., the temperature dropped. My breath misted in the air, even though it was the middle of summer. The rearview mirror fogged up from the inside again, and this time I didn't wait. I wiped it quickly, heart thudding, and saw his face. Not just behind me, in the back seat. Smiling. Wide. Unnatural. He opened his mouth like he was trying to scream, but no sound came out. Just this gaping black void that seemed to suck the light out of the car. I jumped out, slammed the door, and ran to the church doors, banging like my life depended on it. It did. Nobody came. But the door creaked open anyway. I rushed inside. Dark. Empty. Cold. I collapsed near the altar, crying, shaking, whispering prayers I hadn't said since I was 8. And then I saw him again, standing at the far end of the aisle, under the giant cross, head tilted sideways, arms hanging limply. He looked wrong. Not just unnatural, broken. As if he wasn't meant to exist in this world. He opened his mouth again. That same silent scream. But this time, it echoed. Not with sound, with memories. I don't know how else to describe it. I heard crying that wasn't mine. Screams. A woman begging. A man shouting. And then, fire. The smell of burning wood, melting plastic, and something worse. Something alive. I saw flashes, an apartment door with a big brass 3C. A boy pounding on the window from the inside, smoke behind him. No one helping. No one opening the door. And then blackness. He died in there. Trapped. Forgotten. And now, he's looking for someone to remember. Someone to carry the memory. Someone to open the door he never could. He looked at me with those endless black eyes and whispered, "Clear this time, your turn." And then he was gone. Just like that. I stayed in that church till dawn. When I walked out, my car was gone. Not towed. Not stolen. Just gone. Like it never existed. I hitchhiked back to town. Don't ask how. I barely remember. My body feels wrong. Like I've been hollowed out. I haven't seen him since. Not his face. Not his shadow. But I feel him. In reflections. In the corners of rooms where the light doesn't reach. In the ticking of the clock when it hits 2:14 a.m. And I know now, he doesn't want to hurt people. Not really. He wants them to know. To remember. To carry his story. To open the door. That's why I wrote this. That's why I'm telling you everything. So I can be free. Because the moment you started reading, you let him in. You heard the knocks. You got curious. You asked yourself, what if it's real? And now it's your turn. So when you hear the crying tonight, whatever you do, don't open the door.